Hey y'all, so I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I might get some hate or some flack for this, but I don't care. Those people telling you to ditch your debit card and to only use credit cards because with credit cards you can get points, cash back, rewards. These people are either paid off by the credit card companies or they are very much misinformed, okay? Shiny object syndrome is real when it comes to free money, and credit card companies are dripping in diamonds right now. So let me tell y'all a quick story. There was a place in Houston, Texas, a long time ago called Celebration Station, okay? When I was young, I was a kid. If you grew up in the H, you know. And it was like this arcade. They had like games and they had bumper cars and they had all kinds of things, but mainly games. It was like this giant arcade. And if you did well in the games, you would get tickets. And then after the day was over, you'd be able to cash in those tickets for prizes. Now, as an 11-year-old, I did not know this then, but then prizes were swap meet, dollar store, hand-me-down looking items that were not worth the real money I used to play those games in order to get the tickets, in order to get these items. It really was like a scam when you think about it. They were scamming these little kids into giving them their parents' money. And for what? For these like cheap little prizes, and then the really good ones were like you'd have to like win literally a million tickets in order to get it, and it was impossible. It was impossible. You know how gambling is? It's the same situation, only with kids, right? And then what do these kids get at the end? A little plastic whistle that they probably lose on the way home anyway? Child. But that's just like what these credit card companies do. The only difference is their marketing is much more sophisticated in order to draw in grown people so that they can believe that these points are worth the thousands of dollars that they'd have to spend in order to get them. And I'm talking about like the big rewards, like free plane tickets and things like that. Let me spill the tea on why you should never use credit cards just for rewards, and how these credit card companies deceive us into believing that spending our hard-earned money for a little cash back is a smart financial decision. One of the reasons why you shouldn't use credit card rewards is one that you probably never considered. America's poor are the ones who end up getting left with the tab. Every time a credit card is swiped, the bank charges a fee. It seems trivial because it's a small fee, but these fees do add up. Enough to pay for the rewards you get, like free hotel rooms, plane tickets, you know, and also cash back. So to compensate, businesses will raise prices. And so the cash users, who oftentimes are the less fortunate or the less, you know, financially endowed, I guess I could say. I wouldn't say poor, because not everybody who doesn't use credit cards are poor, but they just don't, they might have low credit scores, they may not have, you know, the financial wherewithal to actually have credit cards that they only use to purchase things, right? But anyway, the cash users are the ones who foot the bill. They often subsidize the perks that go to these credit card rewards users, and these people tend to have more money. And the higher the rewards, the bigger the cost for the unsuspecting people paying for it. Think about it. These businesses, they're not going to lose out on money, okay? Don't you think that these companies are well aware of the people using their credit cards to get rewards like free food, free flights, and things like that? Don't you think that these businesses know that these people are doing this? So they're going to do what they have to do to make up the losses that they're experiencing because of all of these rewards people. Like, they're not going to just sit back and let this happen to their bottom line. They're going to increase the prices of their products or their services in order to offset the free rewards, and then they're going to make the little man eat the inflation. It's reverse Robin Hood. Another reason why you should ditch the rewards cards is because of the annual fees. If a credit card with an annual fee catches your eye, then make sure that you receive enough value in terms of benefits and rewards to offset that fee. So for instance, if you want a credit card with a travel rewards benefit, but it has a really high annual fee, you want to make sure that you're traveling enough to make it worth that annual fee that you're going to be paying. So like if you're going to use your rewards card, make sure that you're using it to buy things that you're going to buy anyway, to make it worth it, to make it worthwhile. Make sure that you're paying off the balance by the end of each month. And beware of gotchas like currency conversion fees, late fees, redemption fees, which all can add up. And so this is just being like a conscious consumer. But ultimately, you gotta ask yourself, the ultimate question is, who is paying for these rewards? Who is paying for these rewards in a consumer setting? The businesses are not going to be left with the bill. Neither are the credit card companies. I mean, we live in a capitalist society if you're in America, okay? So, we should be used to having to pay for these types of things. These hidden fees, these gotcha moments, these taxes and all these types of things always get filtered out. They always end up trickling down to the little man. Just ask yourself, who pays for these rewards in a consumer setting besides the less fortunate or the people who may not have the funds, like people who have credit cards? Just ask yourself that question. And so here's a little bit of tea. Credit card companies make their money in 3 ways. The first way is by fees paid by the cardholders, okay? The second way is transaction fees paid by businesses. And the third way is interest paid by cardholders. And we've already talked about how businesses get their money back from rewards customers. But what about the credit card companies? What does that look like? What are these 3 ways that they make money? What does it actually look like in a consumer setting? Well, they take that money to build expensive skyscrapers, and they create irresistible ad campaigns, and they make sure that the marketing points their product or frames their product in a way that looks irresistible because of all the rewards that you will be getting if you use this credit card, okay? That costs a lot of money to do that. So that way they can bring in more cardholders, which in turn puts more money in their pockets. But nothing in this world is free, especially not in the West. Part of what pays for your rewards are the interest payments from other people. Think about it. The 40% of people who aren't paying off their credit card balances at the end of the month, and they're getting slapped with interest payments and late fees, they're the ones paying for your rewards. The credit card companies are feeding that $140 billion income on interest alone. And the poor loses yet again. Those people may not be able to pay off their balances at the end of each month because they might have financial issues. They may have encountered an unexpected, medical emergency. They may be in a situation that they just can't afford, to pay that payment at the end of the month. They may honestly not have the cash flow. This system doesn't really favor the disadvantaged in any sort of way. And you might be thinking, well, that's their problem. If they can't pay the credit card payments at the end of the month, that's their problem. They shouldn't have a credit card to begin with. But you're simplifying a much more complex issue. Some people may need credit cards in order to have additional income for food and other expenses. They might not be getting paid enough in their regular jobs. They may have a huge family and they may need that credit card to help offset certain expenses. So you're simplifying a much more complex issue. At the end of the day, the system that we live in does not favor the disadvantaged. And this kind of usury, this kind of reverse Robin Hood tactics just honestly shouldn't exist. It's really not meant to benefit anyone, honestly. And even the people who get the rewards at the end of the day, like I said, you guys might be dealing with all kinds of hidden fees, all kinds of traps and ways, sneaky ways to get your money. At the end of the day, you have to spend tons of money in order to get those rewards points. So it's not like you're just sitting around getting free stuff all day. No, you have to actually spend that money. You have to use your credit card on a daily basis in order to get the rewards that you're looking for. So really, it almost evens out because you're still spending money in order to get the free stuff. It's a complete fraud. It's a complete fraud. In my opinion, it really feeds into a greed and excess mindset that really serves no one in the end. So if you plan to ditch your rewards cards, let me know in the comments. Or if you think I'm being too harsh or too hard on these credit card companies, let me know in the comments. Speak your mind. I want to hear from you even if you don't agree with me. I know a lot of people won't, but that's okay. Let me know in the comments. And subscribe to join the tea party if you like the video. Give it a like. Help your girl out. And until next time, y'all, bye.